Hi, I'm Sandy O'Connor, and this is Artist Showcase. We're going to have a lot of fun today because we're going to get the inside look how Tales from the Woods is actually produced. We're doing our film shoot today, and I'm sort of personally excited. It's my first time being in this program, in this show, which is definitely a soap opera, and there's a lot more exciting segments to come. But there's a lot happening, and the boxes will actually play a rather interesting part in this show, along with Teddy the dog, who's always got his lines perfect, and all the other characters. And I'm actually a new character introduced today, and there will be more new characters introduced in episode 8 because we're now filming episode 7. So we hope you have fun. We hope you enjoy seeing the real behind the scenes. Real excited. We've got the writer and creator of Tales from the Woods, and we're going to talk to Terry Fisher today about this show and how she feels about it, where she would like it to go. And then by tomorrow, when we have filmed the actual sort of documentary of how the show is actually filmed, you'll get to see how it's all put together, because it is different than a play. You know, in a play we know the beginning and the middle and the end, but in a TV show we don't always know what's going to happen next. It's up to the writer or the writers. So, welcome, Terry.
Thank you.
And tell me, how do you feel so far about how it's going, and are you having fun still?
I am totally having fun. And what you were saying was true. It's very spontaneous. Like, one of our actors had to leave. They couldn't continue performing. And so it took it in a whole different direction. So I just don't know when that's going to happen. And it's very fun because it's challenging. Then you go, oh no, what do I do now? But I like answering those questions. To me, it's very fun. And when she departed, brought in Sandy, as now she's going to be appearing. And I think it's going in a really fun direction.
And I have no idea what you're going to do with me.
Such fun.
That's what's sort of fun for all of us, because we don't all know what's going to happen next. And even though these others who've been in the show, this is we were filming segment 7. Segment 7 of the show, and some of the actors were there from the beginning, so they had a better feel for where they were going, you know, but they still really didn't know.
They don't know. And I have the power of life and death.
Isn't it great?
It's great. I could make you, I could break you, I could kill you.
You could kill us off, whatever.
Fantastic.
And how are you fed the ideas, or is it just coming to you?
Interestingly, a lot of it comes to me in meditation. When I'm meditating, just something will just kind of drift in. I'll go, oh, that's interesting. Sometimes I'll stop meditating, write it down, just so I don't forget. But I get a lot of that, and sometimes it's just offhand. I was in the pool with Sharon and thank you, Cheryl, and we were just spitballing ideas, and that's fun. I mean, I'm truthfully used to working with a whole room full of writers, so
that's what I thought.
This is a very different experience.
So when you did L.A. Law and Cagney and Lacey, you really worked with more than just yourself.
You did. I mean, I have to admit, like, when I started on Cagney and Lacey, there were no other writers, so I really did pretty much everything. When they brought me in the middle of a season because all the writers had quit. So it was very much like this, because I just, I didn't, no one could tell me, no, you can't do that. There was no time. We were in continuous production. They had to get it out. And those were the most fun I had, really. I'm just, doing it and breaking the story. But as far as breaking the story, which is when you come up with your story ideas, you usually have a room full of writers. And also when you're writing your script, like I know I'm not basically a comedy writer, and I'm not like a joke writer. And so it's nice to have someone in the room that's a good joke writer. If you need a joke, I go, put a joke in here. I mean, I like coming up with funny comedic situations, but I'm really not a sitcom writer. A sitcom writer, it's da-da-da-da-da joke, and I just don't write that way. I don't have those rhythms. So anyway, I'm having fun. I like doing it by myself because at some point when you're doing it with a whole room full of people and with a lot of critics looking over your shoulder, you start censoring yourself. And that was what was happening to me in the later parts of my career. I would hear like the guys from the network going, why is this character sympathetic? Why do we want to, identify with, and you start censoring yourself, because I could hear them. They won't like this, they won't like that. I'm finding it very liberating, and that's why I'm staying very hands off from it, because I just want to have the fun writing it, and the result I'm staying out of, and however it comes, because I'm very controlling, and I'm trying to just give up all that control and see what happens.
That's great, and I hope you've heard that people are really starting to talk about it a lot, and talk about, oh, you mean we've only got this one episode for 4 weeks, and now we have to wait for another one, and oh gee, and that's a good thing.
I'd love to hear that, because I don't really get that much feedback, and the only feedback I got, it was a friend of a friend. Someone felt the women talk way too much about sex. They're old women and they shouldn't be talking about sex.
Well, that would be unrealistic to what goes on in
exactly.
the woods.
So and it just, that's why I don't like a lot of feedback, because, then that puts it in my head. As stupid as I think that is, it's in my head.
And it might just come out the wrong way, meaning you wouldn't do what you want to do.
I'll start censoring myself. Oh, this woman will think it's too much. That's why I don't even, when people want to talk to me about episodes, I'd rather they didn't. Like it becomes really weird and burdensome. Like I'd go to the market in Pacific Palisades when I was living in LA, and I'd give them my check or my credit card, and oh, you write LA law. I didn't like that last episode.
Oh,
and
gee.
I start getting critiques from the checkout people. I mean, it gets to be ridiculous. I'd go to the dentist and he'd go, oh, I don't know about that last episode, or, and is that really what you want to do? Have your dentist critiquing you?
Yes.
I'm like, God. So I'm like so happy that I'm kind of anonymous here. I kind of just float around. No one really, tells me much. And I like that. It's keeping it very pure. Because when I first started writing, I was writing novels. And I was still working as a lawyer. And so, of course, I was just writing for myself. And it was really, really fun. I mean, I would just have so much fun. I'd get up real early in the morning and start writing. And then once you start making a living from it, and there's people that are buying it, and they can tell you stuff, because they're buying it, they're paying for it, so they have a right to tell me if they don't like it. And you start, at least I started censoring myself, and it became much less fun.
But this way, and you're not worried about people feeding you that much information about possible storylines? I mean, do you feel like you wouldn't care if that happened, and you'll just go on creating it in your head during your meditations and etc.? Or how do you feel about other feedback coming from people that you might get connected to somehow, but not to, criticize, but to say, well, here's some funny stories, here's some things that...
I love that, though. Truthfully, most people don't think in terms of story. They have something that I call it, I used to say wheat. They say, wheat, why don't we do a thing about wheat? And I go, well, how do you make a story about that? It's just, they don't see it in terms of story. They have like an incident, and sometimes it'll spark something. Most of the time it doesn't. And I don't love telling people, gee, I didn't like that, because I don't like raining on people's parade. So most of the time I prefer people don't, because usually it's not useful to me. But once in a while, I'm sure that something will happen, and I go, oh, wow, that's really interesting. That could work for a storyline.
Almost all the actors are here now, and some of them are reviewing their lines. Cheryl, who's the director, is reviewing the sound effects, and the others are just chatting it up and getting ready to do this. Here, Teddy, you want this treat? Take it slow, take it nice. See, you're very nice. See, Teddy has a very important part. He has to bark every time the doorbell rings, and he's been doing his perfect on-cue performance, so we're very proud of him. We do quite a bit of rehearsing. You would be amazed. We rehearse every Monday for, a month and a half at least, and then we finally film it. So it is fun, and we do have a lot of camaraderie as we rehearse each week, and we do spend time talking to each other about everyday things, and then we get into our scripts and we start blocking where we're going to be and how we're going to execute the scene. And so it's really a lot of fun.
We're shooting the scene that's in the living room. We're using my house as the set. We've moved out of the studio, and we're now going to be doing location shots as much as we can. So my house is going to be, my living room is going to be our location for the living room, for Jackie's living room. However, we have shot on location when one of our main stars broke her kneecap and couldn't get out of bed.
That would be me.
We had to shoot at her house. Actually, we shot on her bed because she couldn't get off of it. Not only did she break her kneecap, she also broke her shoulder, her arm,
Fractured, yes.
her opposite arm. So
Fractured.
as we decided to help her out, we weren't going to stop the shoot. So we went to her house.
Yes.
On the bed.
And shot on her bed.
Yes, if you look at one of
And
the
I remember
earliest
that was
episodes, we
very
were all
funny.
sitting on our bed eating.
That was very funny.
In the next episode, we have to shoot in her bedroom. So again, we'll be back at her house.
2 cameras and a boom mic.
And a big dog.
And
And her dog on the bed.
Oh, and we had
It
to
was
get my
pretty
dog
funny.
on the bed. And that was terrible because her
Teddy,
bed
we're
is
talking
high.
about you.
Her
Come
bed is high up, and the dog couldn't get up. They should have videoed the dog getting on the bed. And then once he got on the bed, it was really comfortable, and he wouldn't get off the bed.
Somebody was asking me yesterday about this and when we watch and how often is it on. I said, well, it's twice a week for a month. Then we change the episode. They said, why can't you do an episode every week?
I know.
I said, you should only know what goes into
Right,
one
our
episode.
writer would be ecstatic because
Yeah.
she's so happy not to have to do that,
Yeah,
and then we would
exactly.
be crazy.
And
But this whole idea begin.
Well, it's funny. It started at 2 different poles. Terry, the writer, who is my cousin, said, I would love to write, a soap opera about Laguna Woods. I don't want to go through the trouble of getting in contact with this TV station and doing all that. I don't know how to do it, and I'm not a producer. I'm just a writer. I'm not a director. I'm just a writer. If I could just write it and somebody else would take care of the rest, I would love to do it. Maybe 3 months later, Cheryl was saying, Old Pros really wants to develop something to do for Channel 6. And I don't know what. Ha! Terry, Cheryl, talk.
And I actually had met Terry. She had actually come over for Rosh Hashanah, and she met my dog. So that was.
She wanted Teddy to be the
She
star.
wanted the dog to be in the show. So, so there you go.
All of his presence, yes.
Right. And actually, for me, it's less stressful shooting at my house because it was such a pain in the neck bringing the dog to the studio.
Oh.
So,
And the props.
and the props.
All the props.
And the props.
We have them all
Lots of
here.
props.
Right on cue. Thank you, Eddie.
Good boy, Teddy.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, guys.
Are we live?
Yes, live.
Live.
How's everybody doing?
We're good. We're good.
Oh, it's nice to hear.
Oh yeah. See, this is a good shoot here.
It's perfect.
We all want to know what your role is today because you are the director, and what do you see as your role to make this all work today?
Well, I'm going to be prompting. I'm going to have my script available, and I'm going to be prompting in case people have forgotten their lines. I'm going to be working with David, the producer, and PJ, the assistant producer, just to make sure that we set up the camera angles correctly and that the shots are going to go as planned. I think we need to stop and let David in. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, there he goes. He's setting it all up.
Setting it up, and PJ needs to come in too.
There you go.
They're from Channel 6 and doing a great job. And so, I got the props together.
Which are absolutely
right
lovely.
here. We
Yes.
talked about the cost, what everybody was going to wear. We had to, make sure that was going to run smoothly. And I just had to get the set together, basically. I'm doing everything. Scheduling and just making sure everybody can come when we're supposed to have the shoot and the rehearsals.
And trying to remember, because I've been through this the first time, how many weeks do we actually rehearse before we film?
Well, we rehearse on Mondays. The rehearsals are about an hour and a half, but we rehearse every Monday for about 4 or 5 weeks. So it's like 5 rehearsals prior to the shoot. And today we're going to do a dry run through before each shot, because that way the cameraman can see what we're doing and we can agree on shots. Before when we were doing in the studio, we'd have a studio rehearsal so he could see what was going on. But because we're doing it on location, we're doing it this way.
And it really goes pretty fast, doesn't it? I mean, I haven't been here yet, but this is my first time. But doesn't it go fairly fast? I mean, considering.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, each scene is pretty quick, so it goes pretty quickly. I mean, it'll happen a lot quicker than you would expect. We're scheduled to
be here from 10 to 2, but it's not going to take that long. I think we'll be done by 12:30. It's just a matter of setting up, making sure the shots are right, the sound is right, and that the actors remember their lines, because if they don't, we have to repeat.
Are you guys having fun filming the show?
We always have a great time. Every episode's a little bit different, and it's fun for me because I obviously don't live in the community, but I've gotten to meet a lot of really cool people and make some friends, and we always have a good time. And this is a little bit different because we've been shooting a lot of stuff in the studio, and from this point forward, we're going to be doing more on location, 2 camera shoots, kind of in my head shooting it sort of like The Office if we can. So the show's evolving, and the actors are evolving, and our production style's evolving, and it's fun.
How long did it take you to edit this show?
With the green screen stuff that we were shooting, it would take about a month. That's another reason doing it on location will save some time. Instead of having to change every background for every single shot, it'll be a little more concise. So we'll kind of see what happens moving forward, but hopefully 2 to 3 weeks we can get these out and done and ready, and kind of have a template for the next episode moving forward.
Are you getting any feedback from the community at all about the show?
Only secondhand, because I'm not really out in the community. I'm kind of in my cage, but the response has been great. I think some of the stuff was a little racy and people weren't expecting it, but they liked it because of that. So I think we're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, and it's funny to read the script whenever Cheryl comes by and drops it off and see what we're going to be getting into, because it's always a little like, whoa, okay, we're doing that.
So what were you just doing there?
Well, I'm supposed to be drinking a glass of wine because I'm being accused of drunk ordering on Amazon. And I say, I was not drunk, and then I take a drink of wine. So I wanted the prop to show, at least. If it's going to be in the script, we got to show it.
So what's it like having Terry Louise Fisher put words in your mouth?
I think she's a good writer. I like her words. Sometimes you're tempted to change the wording so it fits your personality. But I'm really comfortable with what she writes, so it works for me.
And what's your opinion of how the show is evolving?
I'm loving it. In fact, all my friends that watched the show were in the shoot yesterday that was a yoga class, and they were all in the yoga class, and now they're very interested because they heard the dialogue in person, and now it's being very personal for them.
So what's it like having Terry Louise Fisher put words in your mouth?
I really like it, because sometimes you're tempted to change the wording so it fits your personality, but in this case, I'm very comfortable with her words, and it's working well.
And then, are you getting comments as you wander around the village? People see you?
All the time. People come up to me and say, what about that girl? And who's the whore?
Did they really say that?
Yes. Who is that whore from Gate 4? It's very funny. They get very involved. My neighbors are all involved, and my friends are, because they were at the shoot yesterday doing a yoga class, and now they're like, oh, we can't wait to see this one. So, what's going to happen to Marshall?
Do you feel pressure when you're outside, like how TV stars have to be, where you have to be all made up and looking good because people know you, or is it you can just be yourself still?
I do.
Oh, that's good.
Heck no, I'm an actress. That's what I do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun are you having?
Oh, this is 10. Very
Really?
definitely.
It's a 10.
It is a 10. Yeah.
And your cast members seem so friendly. There's not a lot of ego and drama,
No,
right?
we've all done things before together, so we're all friends. It works out well.
And where would you like to take your part? Do you have any thoughts about where you'd like to see your part go?
Well, I keep pushing for a new love interest because my husband hasn't been in this thing for quite a while, and he is going to jail eventually, so that would be fun.
And Eunice says, did you tell her about your college experience with the FBI?
Don't scare her.
Don't worry.
You told me I'd be all right if I didn't spend the money.
Should be fine.
Please let Jane be okay. That drama enough, girls?
Yeah, I think it.
Well, this is sort of fun. We are running our lines, we're trying to make sure we're right on, but then we're also having some laughs over it. So I guess it's a thing about being prepared, but also keeping it loose.
And do you want me to say the line as I'm entering, or do you want me to wait until I sit?
Why don't you wait till you sit?
Okay.
I think, yeah, because you're not going to be talking. Yeah, because then you can push them away. And
Okay.
as you push them away, say it.
Yeah.
What's happening over there is they're just really trying to set the scene up properly. And so they're discussing the scene, what's going to be happening, and then making sure they've got the cameras where they want them. And so that when you see this in the end, it should be completely seamless, and it will be. But this is what's interesting about TV work, because it does go this way. And if you're doing a play, you just have to keep going. You go from one thing to the next, first act to the second act. This one, you could be doing your scenes completely out of sequence, and of course it seems disjointed at the filming time, but when it's done, it's all perfect.
Look, I know you're under a lot of stress.
Oh, really, you think? Just because I can't get a hold of Marshall? And even the horse seems to have disappeared.
Like I was saying, I know you're under a lot of stress, but shopping is just the same kind of addiction as any other addiction. It helps relieve the stress that, remember, just temporarily.
Now we're rehearsing a little bit. Oh, and now we have to be quiet because they're going to shoot.
Action.
More? Really?
Don't you have to get dressed?
You've got to stop getting drunk and shopping, Jackie. You can't afford this.
These are all essentials for my cooking, and I was not drunk.
White Italian truffles? $249?
For my risotto, and that's a really good price. It was a one-day special.
Perfect all the way through.
Before I met
Yeah.
Oh, where's meditation after that?
Nice job. And Teddy was great.
Teddy was one. Okay, that's what I thought.
He looked, as you guys were talking, he yawned. Like he let out like a big yawn.
The first time it was a good rehearsal, and then the second time we did it really well, I think. So we'll see when it airs.
How'd that scene go?
It went very well, actually.
But you went to yoga.
Yeah. I need to chill out. Sometimes when you do a scene over and over, you get tripped up. You forgot what you've already said, and you think you've done it already, so it gets a little trickier that way. But we did it.
Looks like you're having fun.
Well, I am having fun. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun.
Yeah, because we're not getting paid.
Yeah, we're getting paid so much.
Do a lot of things if you get paid.
Suffer through it, but this way we don't have to suffer. We just have a good time.
How'd that scene go for you?
It went very well. It went very well. 3 times is a charm.
Yeah, you can't do it in one take. That's ridiculous.
Well, we're doing a dry one first, and then and actually one of the actors flubbed up, not you. And we were able to just move on from there because he can edit it out. So that's the beauty of video, right?
It's never done perfectly.
Right.
I love this project.
What's the best part?
The best part is being with all my friends and having a girl type of camaraderie, of the feeling of having a girl group, you know, to confront the obstacles that we come across here in Laguna Woods.
I've been thinking, you know how property values have increased up in Culver City? Well, I thought maybe I should put my house on the market and buy something here.
What? Oh, that's a fantastic idea.
And while I'm looking around, I could stay here. After all, you do have 3 bedrooms. And I could help you with the mortgage.
That would be great.
How'd your scene go?
Well, it went pretty well. We were a little rough here and there, but we fixed it, you know, because we can do it over. So we did have to do it a couple of times, but it ended up being fine.
I have a major role. I have 6 whole lines in this play. And I'm the FBI agent.
You look like an FBI agent.
I better look like an FBI agent.
Are you gonna have fun?
I'm gonna have a ball.
Yes?
I'm Special Agent Radford, FBI. Are you
Yes.
Jacqueline Graydon?
Yes.
We're trying to contact your husband. Wait till you see the next episode. Because in the next episode, I'm going to have 6 assistants, all with black jackets and sunglasses.
So what's your role today?
I'm helping Dave produce Tales from the Woods. I'm running the second camera that gets mostly of the close-ups and tight shots.
And how important is that second camera?
I mean, it's really important because, I mean, you have to have those he's on the wide. I mean, you can't just have one shot, you know, you really want to have a dynamic show. You really want a 2-3 shot, especially on a TV show, you know. All the iconic shows like The Office and Modern Family and all them all are, you know, 2-3 shot in most of their scenes.
David DeSantis is the best. He's a wonderful person to work with.
I'm gonna put that on my website.
Because he's so calm, right?
Yeah, I tell this to my children who are his age. He's the son I wish I could have had. No. My children are very good too, but David's much easier to work with.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go like that. Oh, that sounds like it's across the street, near Jane's.
Well, she's on her honeymoon. I wonder if it's Elaine in her AFib again.
I'm gonna go see what's going on.
What's your character all about?
My character, Lauren, is very bitter about her marriage and divorce.
This is where Mary comes in.
Okay, can't talk. Whoops. Now?
This is where Mary comes in when she says, "Oh, I rest my case, a public defender." You come rushing in.
Oh, no, say what?
You don't say anything. You just come rushing in, and she says, "What's going on?"
Where do you want me to rush to?
Just come in from
In the beginning?
No, this is the middle of the scene.
the middle of the scene.
Okay. So she gets up and she comes back.
Yeah.
Just finished the inside scenes, and so now we're going to do the outside scenes, and there's 3 different scenes at the door. So first of all, the FBI, and then my arrival with my mother, Eunice, and we'll be doing that. And then Mary also has a scene at the door. So there'll be 3 of those, and then we'll be finishing up with the patio scene, which is part of it. And again, it's all out of order. So what you're seeing now in this inside edition, so to speak, is the process. And of course, it's not all in order.
And how's it going?
So that's
See-
a problem when you used to do in theatre. Everything goes in order
Yes.
on the stage. And when we get to this and we're all out of order, we're all discombobulated. We forget our lines and, oh, what scene is this? And it's very, very different, you know.
So different. In fact, I've heard people say they can't do TV, you know, which is interesting. But anyways, they feel they can't. It's just too intimidating for some reason. And so, you know, it's not their thing. And then it's also people who feel that is the thing they want to do. So in any case, all of us have done both. And so it's helpful that we all know the different experience.
Well, also with the theatre, you have a lot of rehearsal.
Yes.
Don't you?
You have a
your
lot,
lines,
a lot more
your
rehearsal.
blocking and that. With
Typical
this,
play,
you
it's 2 months, isn't it? At least 2 months,
Yeah,
maybe
about
2 and a
2
half.
months to get it up and running. Yeah. Whereas this, we do it in less than a month.
I know. So that's the other part of this. That's interesting. Yeah.
We're almost done, right? How's it going?
We're almost done for today. I think so far so good.
Yeah.
You know, we got a good rhythm. You know, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of times you're shooting things out of order, and so we did scenes in here that are going to be jumbled, and then we do all the things outside in the front, and then we do all the things in the back. But he's keeping me in line. I'm keeping him in line.
Yep.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, after this, we just get into the office and, you know, start putting it in post.
Yep.
How did it go with the FBI agent?
Oh, we're not allowed to talk about it.
Top secret stuff, right?
Yeah, super top secret.
I wish I could, Scott. I wish I could.
We're getting close to finishing the shoot, but we still have some more scenes to do. But we're going to wrap because we have plenty of footage for you to enjoy, and we hope you will. We hope you like the fact that you got to see the real inside of how this gets put together. And so we hope that for you, and we hope that you'll be watching all of the segments of Tales from the Woods.